It is not Bobby Durkins on the Not Bobby Durkins channel. Breaking news out of Tuscaloosa. Nick Saban has decided to start Tyler Buckner, the Notre Dame transfer at quarterback, in place of Milroe, who started against Texas, lost the game against Texas. Now, Milroe is one of those guys who he was highly recruited. He could run very, very well. He's a great athlete overall, okay? But he still needs development as a quarterback. And so you step back and you look at Saban, you look at Milroe, you look at Tyler Buckner, you consider that Tommy Rees, the now offensive coordinator at Alabama, the former Notre Dame quarterback, former Notre Dame offensive coordinator, who went down to Tuscaloosa, got him to come down there. You step back and you ask yourself, you go, hold on. Out of all the quarterbacks who were available, who had the most experience? The person with the most experience was Tyler Buckner. Yes, he's had his injuries, but Tyler Buckner. Now, I've told y'all this multiple times if you've watched my channel. And Carla Jenkins said she just clicked on this because she saw the sinister grin. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. I hope you've subscribed, Carla. If you have not subscribed to the sinister grin, it's free. Please do it. But I've told y'all this several times. I love my Clemson Tigers. I grew up right outside of Clemson. I love Clemson. But for some reason, I've always liked Notre Dame. I'm not Catholic. I have no affiliation with the school. None of my parents went to Notre Dame. I have no ties to Notre Dame. In fact, I've told the story about one time Notre Dame was doing really well back, I don't know, early 2000s. And I called my dad, who is the nicest guy in the world. This makes it sound like a jerk. My dad's not a jerk. He's a great guy. And I called him one day and I was like, hey, have you seen how Notre Dame's doing right now? He's like, son, I don't care. He said, let me tell you why I don't care. He said, in the era I grew up in, there was only like 3 networks, and there was always 3 games on, and it was no Southern team. It was always, Southern Cal, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and he was like, I just don't like them. So I've watched a lot of Notre Dame football, okay? I've watched a lot of Notre Dame football, and I was shocked when Tyler Buckner was not named the starting quarterback. I know he's had injury problems, but I am telling you, between his experience, he is a good player. And then his offensive coordinator is a man that he played for. I'm just sitting here going, this just makes too much sense. I mean, come on. This makes too much sense. And when they said Milroe is going to be the starting quarterback, I went, okay, maybe Saban knows something I don't. And he's going to start the guy who blah blah blah. He comes out, he loses to Texas. He's a very talented player, but that Texas game was too big for him. You have to remember, this is what? Ewer's 3rd year in college. This is like his 3rd year in college from what I can remember. Highly, highly talented. That was a big game for him. Just because you did great in high school and you're some type of phenom, you still have to come out and produce. And when I step back and I look at this, and I see that what happened, I was not shocked when they said Tyler Buckner is the starting quarterback. Now, let's stop here. Obviously, I'm a big Clemson fan. Right now, we've got a ton of problems in Tiger Town. We really do. We have a player development problem. We have a coaching problem. I know that the offense has been spewing out some crazy numbers at the end of the game. But remember, the Duke game, Clemson rushed for 200, Clemson passed for over 200, and still, listen to me, still lost by 3 touchdowns. So, you can sit there and make up as many excuses as you would like for Clemson. I love my Tigers. I wish things would change, but you need to listen to this week. I found it on YouTube, but Josh Pate from the Late Kick with Josh Pate was on a call-in show. Someone had him as a guest on a call-in show, and he was asked specifically, and this deals with Saban, folks. So if you've clicked on this, you're an Alabama fan, you're like, what does this even do? Just stick with me. I promise you this is worth it. He said, Nick Saban is the type of guy who will figure out the way to win. You know, he realizes things changes, he adapts. This past weekend, he had Milroe play quarterback. Well, guess what? He's changing quarterback. The most infamous change was Jalen Hurts benching Jalen Hurts against Georgia in the national championship to bring in Tua Tagovailoa. Because remember, Saban remembers that the goal here is to win. The goal is not to be faithful to a player. The goal is to win. And Saban remembers that. But Josh Pate said this about Dabo. He said Dabo believes he has it all figured out. He may never say that. He may play the humble card and say, well, you know, I'm growing as a coach, and you understand this game of, it evolves, and I've got to evolve with it, or I adapt, or whatever verbiage you want to use. But the truth is, Josh Pate nailed it. Nick Saban changing quarterbacks this week says, I want to win a championship. Now, I went and I looked at Alabama's schedule tonight because I'm not an Alabama fan. Even though I did a Alabama preview for the season, I went and I looked at, I saw their schedule then, but I had to refresh my memory. Alabama can get Tyler Buckner more acclimated this week against South Florida. And then next week they play Ole Miss. But guess where they play Ole Miss? In Tuscaloosa. Then after that they have winnable games against Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Arkansas. And then the schedule gets crazy. Okay? SEC Dog, thank you so much for that, my friend. SEC Dog, he and I have a love-hate relationship. He's fantastic. I just don't like his team. He doesn't like my team. He talks some trash. He stirs the pot. I stir the pot, and then we slap 5 virtually. SEC Dog, I'm glad you're here. But my point in all of this, Saban proves over and over that he remembers that he was hired to win. That's it. That 2-year-old man remembers his one and only job is to win. We hope players graduate. We hope they stay out of trouble. And by the way, I hate this either-or thing. I hate this either-or game that so many people plays. Well, if I bring the best players in here, you got to accept some of them's going to get in trouble. What, for rape? That's not okay. Now on the other side, you got to understand. I'm trying to raise young men here into great leaders, into great men, and I just want them to graduate and do well and everything. Well, hold on. That has nothing to do with your poor football development of players. Like, what I don't. Why is it either or? Why can't you demand excellence across the board? That's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. We're playing the either or game. Human beings, and I'm going to go on a tangent here. So if I lose you, I lose you. But I'm just going to say this. And especially in the United States, we're what I like to call knowledge junkies. If you talk to any doctor or dietitian or legit trainer, they'll tell you you either have people who eat really well but they don't exercise, or you have people who exercises consistently or they eat really bad. And it nullifies the work done. I mean, yeah, you're going to see some good things here and there, but overall, you're divorcing one excellence from the other. Why can't we have both? So Saban is dedicated to winning, and that's the reason that you're seeing Tyler Buckner start this weekend. I think it's a great move. You know, if Tyler comes out there and he wets the bed and he does terrible, and you know they'll try someone else. But my point in all of this, and I try to make this very clear, no matter what fan base I'm talking to. What's up, Danny D. Rock Mahaffey? It's good to see you, my friend. The truth is that Saban is dedicated to winning. I think that Tyler Buckner should have been the starter day one. And I'm not going to say that they would have beat Texas. I transparently think that you would have had a better chance at beating Texas because Tyler Buckner can throw the football. Also, here's another thing that I'll leave with Alabama fans, and I'll leave with everyone who's lost to Alabama. When you think about Alabama, you think about Bryce Young recently. You think about Tua recently. I know Mac Jones had that one really good year. But think about Greg McElroy. Think about McCarron. Were those great quarterbacks? I can answer that for you. No. Think about B.J. Sims. Was that his name? B.J. Sims? And then there was that kid from Florida State who transferred in. They were good quarterbacks, but were they amazing? Were they world class? I can't say so. So if I'm an Alabama fan, I'm not looking for Tyler Buckner to come in and be the savior. I'm looking for Tyler Buckner just to come in and make the right passes at the right time, be a really good game manager. And that's what I would say to any Alabama fan who's wondering about the season is very salvageable. There's a lot of people right now who's looking at Nick Saban and they're kind of treating them. It's kind of the same approach with Clemson. We hope they're not doing so well. Here's the unfortunate part for my Tigers. Clemson football is not doing well. It's not. There's a lot of questions there. I'm not saying that it's a lost cause, but it just doesn't look good. Alabama, everybody is hoping that Saban is deteriorating because you're only a few years removed from a national championship with him. You know what I mean? And even a bad team with him is still better than basically everybody. So we will see. We will see. Time will tell. There's still a lot of season to go. There's still a lot of games to be played. There's still a lot of adjustments to be made. But it's really, really interesting to see this change. I was shocked when Milroe was named the starter. I truly felt that Tyler Buckner should be the starting man. Once again, I'm just going back over this again. Because of his experience at Notre Dame, because of his relationship with the offensive coordinator, and because the kid is a fighter. He is a fighter. He really is a fighter, and I think that's what Notre Dame needs. Or not Notre Dame, but Alabama would need. And so we will see how this all plays out. But it's interesting. What I thought was going to happen initially didn't happen, but now it's happening after the Texas loss. So we'll go see where this ends up. Tomorrow, Alabama will play South Florida. They'll beat them next week with Lane coming in. Lane wants that win. Lane wants the win back. Lane wants to turn the corner because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Lane is getting fidgety at Ole Miss. Lane is not just thrilled to be at Ole Miss, just to be at Ole Miss. Lane, for better or for worse, character flaws or not, wants to win. And you have to remember that when you're dealing with Lane Kiffin. What, as I like to call him, the Bill Clinton of college football. So we will see what happens. Hey, listen, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The channel has blown up. Unfortunately, Clemson losing ended up being one of the best things that could. Anyway, subscribe if you want to support on a monthly basis. You have the join button below. But anyway, I appreciate it. Y'all take care of yourself, and I'll catch you next time.